So in the last video I finished up putting in this head unit and installing this interface for the screen to work. So what I've read online, the only way to get the display to keep on working and to not have that terrible looking backup camera view is to actually dismantle this radio right here and then shove it behind the dash. Sounds bad, but I'm pretty sure that the display is going to look a lot better than what that aftermarket one looked like. I did order a few more things that I needed for this build. This one is the video bypass for the Alpine, so you don't have to do that weird parking brake, put in a part routine, whatever you have to do with Alpine. It's a USB and it's also got aux connection on here as well. And this one is HDMI. So I got the radio back out already. First thing you want to do is actually take out this ANC module over here. Apparently if you leave it connected and hook up subwoofers, then it gives a lot of feedback. It's got two bolts, two 10mm bolts you need to access from the bottom. After you take that little cubby out, there's actually a lot of plastic here that you can cut out so you can fit the radio back in there. So I'm actually going to trim this part right here, make the hole a little bit bigger, and then also on the other side over here. When you get the cubby back in there, you shouldn't even see that part, so you won't even notice that it's been cut. I'm getting to the part where I'm gonna have to start experimenting. I figured that the only wires that I need from this harness here should be the constant power, the ground, and then the switch 12 volts to turn on the radio. One of these goes to the video bypass, and then this is the remote wire. So, and I don't think I've ever used this wire before. I got this wire here, and I got some connectors, and I'm going to use them to make a harness to plug in. I'm going to run 12 volts from power that I have in the back of the car and run it up to the center console underneath it. That's where I'm going to do the wiring and the relays and all that to get the radio to turn on. So I got constant power and the ground. So these other spots, that's where I'm going to wire up the relay. If I have to take the radio out for any reason, I'll be using these connectors here. One of these ends will be connected to that terminal block underneath the dash, and then it'll go up where the rest of the wires are coming up. And then from the head unit, we're going to have the other ends so we can disconnect it if needed.
Yeah.
this part off camera. I connected the harness for the steering wheel adapter. It's connected to the red and the black. You have the little plug that goes into the head unit, and then these two wires that need to be connected so you can get the controls for the hands-free and the steering wheel controls. So it's pin 22 of the factory harness. This is pink one right here. 22 is that one right there where my thumb is. The other wire went to pin 9 of the 16 pin connector, which is a light blue wire, and that's the one that goes to your hands-free. I got everything in all the way. So we got the head unit here, and then the iMid is working up top here. And of course, since you don't have the radio hooked up, or the audio for the radio, then it says audio power off. So of course you don't get everything up here, but if you turn up the AC or adjust the settings on there, then you'll get that display up top. Change the temperature and all that. Now, one major thing that you're gonna have to know about before you try to do this, the buttons from the factory head unit are the ones that you would use to set the time. Once every 6 months during daylight savings time, or you disconnect the battery, then you'll have to reset this each time. If you take out that cubby, then you can access the radio. So I've got the faceplate here. There's the connector. There in the middle, and that plugs into the back right over here. So just be careful and plug it in, and that's your controls right there. So you can go through here. If you need to adjust any of the display settings or anything like that, you can just go to each option. Now you do have these other ones here for the tire pressure monitoring and all that. You know, if you need to reset any of these, this is the only way to get to it. As long as you have everything set the way you like it, then you shouldn't have to worry about any of this. So it's not too bad to have to do it once every 6 months, but at least the backup camera looks good on here now. And then after you get the time set and all that, then you can just put this right back up in there. Just be careful. So down here is where I have the USB and the auxiliary port plugged in. And then up top here, this is where I ended up mounting the Bluetooth microphone. Kind of see it in there. And then you got the head unit. You got your options: radio, iPod, Pandora, Bluetooth Pandora. I don't even know if anybody even uses Pandora anymore. Auxiliary, Bluetooth audio, and music, which actually goes right to the music app on your phone. So at the bottom here, you can see where it says phone and CarPlay. So if you wanted to make a phone call, you could just go right here. And Apple CarPlay is the reason I got it, so you go right there. And then the bottom here is home. So you can look at your different options here. Phone, music, maps, all that good stuff. But the interface is pretty similar to an iPhone. So I mean, you got the different apps you can go to. So if I didn't have that bypass module, you wouldn't be able to go to the setup over here. But since I have it in there, then you can go to the setup, like the sound settings. Go through all the different settings of the head unit. As I said before, I really wasn't sure if I wanted to replace the factory head unit just because of everything I had to deal with the iMid. But I think it's worth it, and you get better sound quality out of this. I did take the audio processor out of here and just have the amps connected directly to the head unit. So I've actually got some plans for that processor with the truck. So it'll be a little bit bigger build, but this is pretty much simplified the system. I wanted to do something big in the beginning, and it just became a headache. But that's about it until the next build. We'll see you next time.